Everyone, this is Kyle with K-Debate. I'm in a new setup. My computer stuff is over here, including my microphone. My camera's over here. Got a nice backdrop. You can actually see me now. And I'm doing a very, it's not a personal video, but I've been talking to people about this all day today. It's 9/11. Obviously, there's going to be a very specific topic, and I don't like doing videos on controversial things, and what I want to talk about isn't controversial. I wrote a big long thing on it on Facebook already, and I wanted to make a video about it because it's a different kind of medium, it's a different kind of expression, and I really think that it's a good thing to talk about this kind of stuff. And I hope this video comes out okay. I hope there's not a lot of background noise or anything like that. I've tested it. It's the best I can get it. So, what happened on 9/11, World Trade Center, both the buildings were hit by planes, collapsed, killed thousands of people. It's a tragedy. No one will ever see it as anything less than a tragedy. And our response, America's response, the immediate response was save the people. First responders, just people in the streets, just the police, the ambulances, the firefighters risked their lives and died, many of them died, to save who they could. And then for weeks afterwards, just trying to save as many people that were the aftermath of it. And that response is what I am proud of, just as being part of this nation, being part of this. I'm not like a nationalist. I'm not really patriotic regarding what we have. But at that point, I was proud of all of those people, of what we stood for in response to an attack was to defend the innocent, to save lives, and to make sure that no one else was suffering that didn't have to be suffering. But then after that, when people started finding out more information on what happened, it wasn't an accident, it was a terrorist attack, and it was a certain terrorist organization that did it. And that response I'm not proud of, because people were attacked in the streets. People that looked Muslim, that looked from that part of the world, they were attacked. Didn't matter who they were, didn't matter that they were completely innocent, they were attacked. And that response is the main reason that nationalism and just any kind of just generalizing of people, like we're better than you or you're worse than us, and that it sickens me. And that's not who we are supposed to be as a nation. That's not what we're supposed to do. It goes against what those first responders did. It goes against what every person in the military fights for. It's our freedom. It's our rights, our human rights, that are being tarnished. The idea is being tarnished by that hate. And because a terrorist organization, they're fear mongers, they're hate mongers, and they're warmongers. And that's all they do, is they destroy for their own gain. They destroy so other people can't have things, and they destroy for this ideology that doesn't work. And I mean, it's very effective in what they're trying to do, but I mean, it doesn't work in the world. It's only a destructive measure. So there isn't an ideological argument to say terrorists should exist. It's not true. So I look at the two extremes, just right back to back. 9/11. Well, that technically three extremes. You have the terrorists attacking. You have just the outpouring of love and dedication and self-sacrifice to save those people, and and then you have the response of hate from not the same people that ran in and tried to save people, but from just people that were there. Just, I hate you now. I hate you now because you look like those people. And it divided us. It made something that was a tragedy into something that was even worse because we didn't respond. We didn't respond in a way that fixed it. We made it worse. And innocent people were hurt by us because innocent people were hurt because of them. And when I say them, I mean the terrorist organization, not the simplification, generalization of the Islamic faith. And that's the other thing that bothers me. And this is what this video is supposed to be about: bigotry, anti-American, anti-Islamic, anti-white, anti-black, anti-cop. These are all dividing things. These are all bigoted things. And they're not what we're supposed to stand for. We have a right to complain. We have a right to demand change. We have a right to dislike or to not participate in. Those are our rights. And we have a lot more. But those are the ones that I'm talking about. Those are not the same thing as wanting to annihilate something. An idea, a group of people, an ideology. And I was having an argument with somebody earlier, and it was an argument because they wanted Islam gone. Like, it was so weird because they said some things that just didn't make, they were counter, they didn't work together. They would say one thing and then they'd say the opposite of it. They said it's not Muslims that are the problem. It's Islam that's the problem. So you just have to remove Islam and then the Muslims should be fine. That doesn't work. So they wanted to eradicate anyone who didn't stop being a follower of Islam. You can still be a Muslim, but you're not allowed to follow the Islamic faith. And when I told them that that's not how the language works, if you follow Islam, then you are effectively Muslim. It's just the way they were wording it didn't make sense. And my response, it's not something that I talk about a lot, so I don't word it exactly right. But it's like there's the Jewish faith and then there's the Jewish people, and it's a very, like, it's because there are countries that are Islamic, so you have the Muslim people, but they can be kind of different in their whatever. But so I was talking to this person, arguing with them that you cannot say annihilate them because of the terrorists. Terrorists are not the average. And so they switched their argument to they still wanted them annihilated, they still wanted them wiped out, but they were talking about how they're different, how the Islamic faith, the Quran, is different than the Torah, than the Old Testament. And it is slightly different. All three of the main holy books are different, but they said it was fundamentally political. And that's why it was evil. Because, what was it? Shika? I can't remember the wording of it. Hold on, I hope this doesn't mess it up. Islam law. Sharia. Sorry. I can never pronounce that properly. I apologize for that. But that's the laws of the land in an Islamic state. It's the same laws that our women have to wear certain clothing, be covered, men have to act a certain way, you're not allowed to do certain things, and it's even in your private life, and you can have punishments, legal repercussions, based off of those things. And those laws, see, okay, as long as they don't follow those laws, It's okay. And I agree with that. Those laws generally are damaging, but those are the political laws. Those are not just their their holy book. It's the interpretations and the building up over time of, this kind of sounds like this, so we're going to make a law to follow it, and then this kind of sounds like we're going to make a law to follow that, and it's interpretation upon interpretation for hundreds of years. And the Vatican has that. The old Jewish states, the old, like the pretty much everything in the Old Testament, all of the laws surrounding those things, those were all religious laws as well. And you can say, a lot of those were messed up, and a lot of them were monarchies, or there were dictatorships, and there were kings, but there were also there were military kings, and it was just those laws were really, really damaging and messed up in a lot of ways for the common person. And you can't compare current Islamic states and say they're evil, but Christianity and Judaism were never that way. You can't say that. The Holy Crusades were a bloodbath, and there's a whole bunch of different examples of indoctrination or subjugation of people based off of a religious ideology. Hinduism and the karma system and the caste system, they're all based off of religious ideologies, and they are terrible for the common person. And it's not picking and choosing, because obviously there are good things that come out of religious ideologies. You save the knowledge in libraries, and you have this moral compass that some people wouldn't have if they didn't fear a big thing. But what I'm talking about is all of it as a whole. You cannot just say this is evil and this is not without a reason, and they never gave a reason. They said it's evil because it's political. And I asked them, how is it political if and the other ones aren't? How is the Vatican not a political system? How was ancient judicial law not political? How are they different? And they knew nothing of Islam. They knew nothing of Judaism. They were an atheist, which doesn't mean they don't know anything about it, but they were one of the kinds of people that are like, I hate religion because religion is stupid, and I'm going to only learn the things that are stupid about them so I can make fun of them. And when I was younger, I was the same way. I hated a lot of these religious things, and I looked up the stuff that's like, oh, that's not true. But I was force-fed religion growing up, and it was wrong. So people tried to indoctrinate me. It didn't work. It backfired and made it harder for me to have faith. And I hated the people that did that, but I also disliked the people that do what that person did. They don't know. They don't know what's going on, and they're hateful. They hate Islam. They hate religious people, and they have a right to hate the terrorists. They have a right to hate people that have wronged others. You can feel that way. That's normal. But they wanted all of them eradicated, not just the ones that were evil, because they generalized and made it so all of them were evil. And I told them how dangerous that was, how easy it is to fall into this idea that they're different or they're associated with them, so therefore you're allowed to hurt them. And that makes me uncomfortable just as a base to talk with people like that, because I know people that are like that have actually gone out and hurt others. And so I need to step back for a second because I'm getting a little off topic. But they personally didn't know anything about the Muslim communities. They knew about the extreme political subjugation of the masses in Islamic states, mostly with women, mostly with non-Islamic or non-Muslim people within the states. So if you're Catholic, or if you're Chinese, or if you're black or anything like that, if you're not a devout Muslim follower that looks Muslim, and this, you're not going to be treated the same way within the Islamic State. That's how they perceived everywhere but in America. So they said in French they practice I can't remember the word again. Sharia. I don't know why I can't pronounce that. I honestly have no idea why I can't pronounce that. But Sharia, I guess. But they commented that pretty much all Muslims around the entire world, except for in America, still follow that practice and therefore are wrong. All of them. And I can agree that if they follow that to the point of defamation, or not defamation, of degradation, hurting somebody. If they follow that in a way that hurts somebody, trying to force their ideological beliefs on people that don't share their religion, then yes, that should be not allowed. That should be, here's the thing. The casualness of religion, the personal idea of, this is my religion, I believe it my own way, they can do their thing their own way as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. That casualness, that internal, personal feeling of religion, that doesn't really exist in any of the more politicized realms of religious states. The old school churches, the old school, you follow this religion your entire life, you are not allowed to be outside of it. You're raised it, you will raise your children that way, and you will die under those laws. And that there was no casualness to it. If you broke from it, you were punished. And that same thing that was hundreds of years ago for Catholicism and Judaism are where it still is with the Islamic states, because it is their law. And I believe that the Islamic states, the belief systems that they have, the faith of the Muslim people, that religion is no more and no less violent than Catholicism or Judaism. And I'm using those as examples because they're the closest. They all believed that Jesus was a person. They all believed that Muhammad was a person. Stuff like that. The Judaic belief system doesn't believe that Jesus was a real prophet or a real Messiah or anything like that. But they do believe that he was a false prophet, stuff like that. But they believed he was running around, and they killed him. But in the teachings, but there's, and I'm comparing them because they're so similar. That's what I'm talking about. But when your argument is that this one is evil because, and it's the same thing that the other ones are, why are the other ones not evil? And so you have to go to the more case-by-case scenarios. Is, well, this one doesn't do it anymore, that's why they're not evil. Or this one didn't do it as badly. But you don't know that. The Crusades, the colonialism of Christianity, where they went out and they just wiped out religious people everywhere that weren't Christian and converted. They forcibly converted them through violence or through just setting up posts everywhere and just preaching to everyone, you must convert or burn in the underworld forever. And it worked really well. And they brought culture to the otherwise uncultured, savage people. And that idea, it wiped cultures off the planet. Now Islam, the terrorists want to do that. The terrorists want to wipe out all of the non-believers. They want to convert everybody if they can. But how is that more evil than what the colonialist Christians did? And they didn't have a response for that. Well, it's political. It's a political thing. It's like, well, so is colonialism. It was the leaders of the developed world wanted their beliefs and their culture and their authority to be recognized around the world so they can gather more power, and that's what they did. So how is that not political? We just don't have anywhere to go anymore besides other countries, so now we're attacking each other instead of the savage nations. And their response didn't answer the question. Their response didn't fix it, didn't answer, didn't explain anything. It was just they hate Muslims. And that's not right. You can hate the terrorists. You can hate individuals that happen to be Muslim. You can hate people that are not those things. You can hate atheists. You can hate anyone as long as there's a reason. You can't hate them because that's what they are. And you don't have the rights to hurt them. To casually spread this hate. Because there's a freedom we have here in the United States. The freedom of speech. The freedom to believe what you want, to think what you want, to practice in your own personal life what you are most happy doing. You can be whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, because everyone else has that same right, the inalienable right to pursue happiness, to be who you wanted to be. We are founded on that. And they were escaping persecution, religious persecution or personal persecution, and they came here. That's where a lot of they weren't immigrants. Technically they were, but they weren't called immigrants, or illegal immigrants anyway. They were immigrants. I'm wording this properly, but we're founded on the idea that all men are created equal, that's women included, that all people are created equal. No matter where you're born, you have the inalienable rights, and eventually we stopped doing that. We're fearful of foreigners. We're fearful of people coming in and taking our jobs, or impregnating our women, or somehow damaging our infrastructure or our culture. They're not integrating into our culture the right way. And in some regards, yeah, there are people that come into the country with nefarious reasons, or that are just bad people, but that's not because they're foreigners. That's not because they're from X, Y, or Z nation. That's just everywhere. Everywhere has bad people. That doesn't mean the people that are coming here are bad. And that generalization, that hate, it hurts so much when I hear rational people doing this. They just have so much hate in them that they can't stop it. They can't even question it because it's so ingrained in them. And the whole 9/11 thing, the tragedy, the death, the destruction, we as a people stepped up and got better when it happened. We did what we always said we would do in the face of tragedy, and that is unite. We are not a divisive country. We are a uniting country. We are the land of the free. We are a free people. We believe every day that we are the greatest country in the world because that is our message, that all people are free, that all people are equal. And we get attacked by a fringe religious group of stupid, uneducated, just indoctrinated, brainwashed, just hypocritical, terrible people. A small group of people did this to us. They're not the Islamic State. They don't represent the Muslim people. They don't represent anyone but themselves. And we responded at first by uniting with the people that were Muslim in the country and saying, we stand with you. George W. Bush did that. They are our people. They are not the terrorists. They are our people too. They don't want to be associated with them. They don't believe what those people say or what they did. They hate them with us. We are a united people. And then it fell apart because the individuals in our country gathered together their hate, their little stupid thoughts, their dogma, their racism, their misinformation, and they're like, oh, that person, you're one of them. And that's how it fell apart. So every time I see that, the love we had and all the memorials, all of the sigils, all of this honorable just stuff that we do to remember the lives lost, the sacrifice, the people that went in to save others, all of it, years after year, we are not honoring that with this hate. We're tearing it down every year that we have these same kind of people that say they're less than us because of who they are or what they believe is their personal choice to believe. They're Muslim, so they're less than us. They're from that area. They don't deserve our charity. They don't deserve what we have. And that is wrong. Everything that we fought for, everything that we stand for, we spit in the face of that when we stop being that. When we start acting like they want us to act. Fear-mongering, hate-mongering, and war-mongering. They want us to be like that. Because that's what they do. That's what a terrorist organization wants. So all of that love that we had we didn't do it well. We didn't do it all the time. Every time our freedom is challenged, we make mistakes. We did the same thing with the Japanese internment camps. We did it whenever we're at war with somebody. The Red Scare, are you a communist? Are you a communist? And we're fearful because we don't want to lose what we have. But we're doing it to ourselves. We're letting them do this. And it's falling apart. We have so much hate now. We have so much fear. People die defending us. We die defending others. And what are we doing now? It's not a simple thing. It's not a one-person thing. This is millions of people all involved in this, all doing their own thing, trying to do their best or trying to eke out a living in this complicated situation. You have people that don't come home. And they die because that's what they set out to protect us from. Of losing loved ones or losing everything we believed in. And then we turn around and we do it to ourselves. So all of the people that fight for the glory of the United States, the belief that all people are created equal, that doesn't exist most of the time for most people. We have it in all of the books. We have it in all of we have it on our money. You know, we have it in our Pledge of Allegiance. You know, we are the greatest nation under God. We are all equal. We don't treat ourselves, we don't treat others like they're equal. There's us and them. That's not how it's supposed to be. Yes, we defend ourselves from the terrorists. We defend ourselves from those that seek to harm. And we defend others from those that seek to harm. That is our gift. That is our duty as humans, to defend and protect and just be unified. And we don't do that anymore. We want people to pay us to protect them. We want people to deserve to be protected. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You didn't help us. You didn't pay us. You're less than us. You don't deserve what we have. That's not who we are. Or it is. But I didn't see it. I didn't see it happen. It was just there. There's always been racism. There's always been xenophobia. There's always been fear. But this is supposed to be better. It's supposed to be like you see it in the movies. You have the glorious start, the goodness in the beginning, and then you have tragedy, and it pushes them to the brink, to the edge, and then there's fear and confusion and doubt, and then they overcome that, and they become better because of it. They become more united. They become a leader, or they become a fighter for the goodness that they're supposed to fight. Why is it not happening? Why are the good people being pushed down? Why are the bad people being pushed up? So I see 9/11, the tragedy. I see the death. I see the sacrifice. And then I see us not honoring that anymore. We say we do. We hold the memorials. We go through the motions. And there are people that honestly believe, and they will believe, that we are doing better and that we will win. But then they turn around, or others turn around, and then just spit on it. They don't respect it. They don't understand it. They are too full of hate and anger, fear. They just want to hurt someone. They want someone to pay. But they don't want it to just be the terrorists, because that's too difficult. It's that guy. It's that guy. It's that guy. It's your neighbors. It's the people that you won't ever be friends with again because of something somebody else did that kind of looked like them. You hate them now. Your brothers. Your friends. It's us versus them. So, my dedication to the tragedy, not my dedication, my response, my message for this memory of what happened is, I'm saddened, not by the tragedy itself. It was so long ago. We've rebuilt. The lives of time has moved forward. This is now. It's a new tragedy. It's another tragedy. It's what we've become because of that. We're hateful. We don't honor the memory of the fallen anymore. We're too hateful. That's it. I'm gonna end this video here. So I hope you like the new setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you in the next video. Hope this was informative.